right. Hello. Welcome to Sunday Night Power Plant. Find my calculator here. We're going to do just a few things tonight, and I'm going to show you some things on ChatGPT to try to help you get ready for for the next week, like the whole week. So before we get rolling on this new upcoming week, I want to start off by doing our rate of run so that you know where you are. It's the 18th of the month. This rate of run will help you know, like, are you close to where you need to be? Are you on track where you need to be? That kind of thing. So you're going to log into your cloud. All right. I was in there and I got kicked out. Okay. All right. So you're going to just right there on that main page, scroll down to where you see, you got to get past all these trackers. We got so many trackers right now. Going to go all the way down to where you see business snapshot and click the arrow so that that gray bar drops open. And then scroll down underneath the qualification bar, you're going to see current QV. Okay, that is the dollar amount that you and everybody under you up to this point have generated. So your downline promoters, your customers, their referrals, your downline promoters, referrals, so on and so forth. So you're going to take that dollar amount and you're going to divide it by 18 because it's the 18th of the month. So we're just looking for a daily average here. It is so weird to see change like 0.60 cents. I guess that's the food making our numbers look different now. It's weird. Okay, so you're going to take the big QV number, divide it by 18. You're now looking at a smaller number. That's your daily average. So we're going to take that new smaller number and we're going to multiply it by 29 because we have 29 days this February because it is a leap year. So the new number you're looking at is what you are projected to end the month at. You might be happy about it. You might be sad about it. But here's the thing. It's not set in stone. So if it looks amazing to you, that is wonderful, but don't take your foot off the gas or you won't get there. If it doesn't look great to you, it's okay. It's not a death sentence. You still have the rest of the month to work on this number. And I can't think of, there's just so many reasons. Like I can't think of any reason that you would not work or be able to surpass that number. Let me think of the many, many ways. We have the momentum promo going on. We have the daily and the weekly bonuses going on. We have the rank advanced bonuses going on. This is the qualification month for a trip. I honestly, there's so much stuff going on that I don't even really know exactly what I'm working for anymore. I just know I'm working. And I'm just hoping that like things fall into the tracker where they're supposed to at this point. So again, that's not to depress you or get you too confident in yourself. It's just to give you an idea of where you are in the month. So I'm so glad you said that because me too. Yeah, I mean, there's just so, like literally when you open up your cloud and you try to find the dashboard, you have to go past all those trackers. I mean, there's so many things going on, which is awesome. I mean, I can't believe that we have, I don't know, like, I can't believe we have that many things going on right now. And for just us, for just our company. It sounds like if you were to list all that, I would think you were talking about 3 or 4 companies like all together. Anyway, okay, so because we have the rest of the month to get jiggy, and obviously the company is really, really, really hoping that we all are getting new customers and new promoters, right? New blood. You can tell the promos are out there for new, right? What I want to do is take away some of the stress of overthinking or trying to be smarter than you need to be. And so we have the bingo cards and they're there to help you. They're there to help you make sure that you're showing up every day. They're there to kind of hand feed you like the idea of what you're going to do. But I know that, like, for example, you may not know, like, should I do a reel today or not? But it says do a reel, make it about a product, or it might say do a reel, make it about your ideal customer. So it's still leaving that open for interpretation of your ideal customer, right? It's still leaving that open to, it says make a video about samples, but like, what exactly are you going to say, right? So I want to make it even easier on you guys. So I'm going to show you, where's this little share screen button? Let's hope I do this right. All right, I'm going to share with you some stuff, I'll call it, that I've been doing in ChatGPT. So before I start showing you the stuff, what I did was I went through the next week of bingo cards and I noticed the reoccurring themes. And you guys, if you've been doing the bingo cards since September, like most of Dream Team has, you already know there's some reoccurring themes, like things that show up consistently. So the first thing that I plugged into my chat GPT today, I'm gonna have to move this. I said, act as my social media expert. Please generate a list of 10 conversation starters for my ideal client regarding trying a sample of Thrive. Because how many times do you see on your bingo card, talk about a sample in your story, go live about a story, make, right? Like, do you not, we're always talking about, because how do we get people on Thrive? Well, I didn't do a sample, but a lot of people do samples. So I want to encourage you to go into your chat GPT. If you have the ability to do it right now while we're together, that'd be amazing. I did pre-type these out because any of you that have ever suffered through a chat GPT training with me know that I cannot freaking type when we are on the screen together for some reason. So I'm going to tell you the prompts I gave it. I'm also going to tell you where I was like, good job, ChatGPT, but I want better. So this time I said, act as my social media expert. Please generate a list of 10 conversation starters for my ideal client regarding trying a sample of Thrive. Now, remember, my ChatGPT has really gotten to know me over the year because I have fed it a lot of information. So if you are newer to ChatGPT, you may have to prompt it a little bit more until it starts to learn you. But I will say right away, it started throwing out things that I was like, these are okay, but not great. Like, I'm not a fan of Hey Thrive Tribe. I'm not a friend of Hey fellow wellness enthusiasts. Like, that doesn't sound like me. I don't really want my conversation starter to even include Thrive. So it kind of goes back to that I didn't really ask the question. Great. But just so you know, everything it gave me there, I can use, right? I can just kind of reword it. But instead, I went back in and I said, can you regenerate, making it less sales like and more focused on offering a solution for their pain point? Leave Thrive out of the conversation. So you can see there how I said, how my brain finally clicked in and I was like, no, I need this to be not salesy. I need to be focused on them. I need to know how I can offer them a solution for their pain point. And I don't even want to talk about Thrive. I just want this to be a conversation starter that could then lead to that. Okay. So you'll see the conversation changed greatly. Feeling a little bit drained. I've got something that might help you. Are you finding it hard to stay focused throughout the day? Who's struggling to kickstart their day? Are you feeling overwhelmed with your to-do list? So now these are, like, I call them clickbait kind of catchphrases, or something that I can, like, if I'm going to make a reel, I could maybe I could be starting off the reel saying, are you feeling overwhelmed with your to-do list? Or maybe I could just be filming myself with a to-do list, and on the screen it says, are you feeling overwhelmed with your to-do list? So now I've got these conversation starters that when it says make a reel about a sample, or go live about a sample, or make a post about a sample. Also, in case you're missing out on this, I am giving you hints of your upcoming bingo cards. So hello. So I want to encourage you to use ChatGPT because we are so focused right now on new people. I would rather me have ChatGPT do this hard work so that I can just churn out what I need to churn out, so that then I can go into anyone who comments or likes on my reel, and then I can really start to work my business, right? I think a lot of times we get focused, and I know I do, I'm guilty of this. I get focused on making the reel. Like, that's the fun part. Like, you're being creative or you're filming something or whatever. But your reels are not your moneymaker. It's the people who are watching them, or who are commenting on them, or who are liking them or sharing them. That's where you make your money. So we need to be able to churn out content without overthinking it, without having to come up with all the words, so that then we can go back into the insights and go, okay, this person liked it, this person commented, these are the people I'm going to send a message to, right? So let me give you this too again. And I screwed up on my first prompt. So you may figure out a better way to ask. But my first question was, act as my social media expert. Please generate a list of 10 conversation starters for my ideal client regarding trying a sample of Thrive. And I did get 10 decent things to run with. But then I regenerated it, making it less sales-like and more focused on offering a solution for their pain point, leaving Thrive out of the conversation. And I got even better conversation starters. So are any of you able, are we doing it together? Are you guys in ChatGPT right now? Okay. Let me, I wonder how hard this would be for me to copy and paste this in the chat. Can I get into the chat when I'm sharing? Oh, I can. I wasn't sure if I could get into the chat when I was sharing my screen, but by golly, I can. Okay, so there's those 2 prompts that we did for that first one. Did anybody, are you guys getting anything good? Like unmute and talk to me. Tell me what's happening.
I did. I got one that said, wish you could find a natural way to support your body without relying on quick fixes. I've been on this journey too. Let's share notes.
I like it.
I got a bunch of different ones from sleep to digestive, which I don't know if I've ever put that in my notes, to just the midday crashes. So I reworded mine and it worked out well, kind of like you did.
Yeah. We have to remember, even if you didn't put it in your notes somewhere, the free version that we're all using is smart up to, I think it was 2021. So any information on the internet about Thrive and the product line, it knows about that. Anybody else get anything good? Is this, or is this the first time anyone's really kind of, I mean, I feel like most of you girls have played on ChatGPT with me before, but no.
Tammy, I got one that said struggling to stay focused and productive throughout the day. Let's brainstorm some strategies to boost your mental clarity and concentration so we can crush your goals.
I love it. And so now to me, again, remember, these are, that's not a full on Facebook post. That's not a full on reel, but those are some of the words that you can either say or use in print. You can use those words in your caption, you can use them in print on the screen, or you can say them. And I just feel like when you're looking at your list of 10, I would encourage you to pick out maybe the top 3 that you're most comfortable with, and then start using those 3 on repeat. So for example, the one where I said, were you feeling overwhelmed by your to-do list? I literally one week could speak on my stories. Are you feeling overwhelmed by your to-do list? I used to feel the exact same way, you guys. This black label is a game changer. Like, whatever, I'm just making stuff up, right? But that could be in my story. And then I could make a reel out of it the following week where, like I said, I was just showing myself checking off my to-do list. And over the screen, it could say, are you overwhelmed? And then in the caption, I could talk about it. And then I could make a post a 3rd week from now. Again, like, man, I used to be so overwhelmed by my to-do list, but I'm telling you, I've gotten a handle on my focus, and I'm so grateful for my, whatever, blah, blah, however you want to talk about it. I don't want to give you words, but the thing is, I know a lot of times we think we have to constantly keep coming up with something new, but I'm here to tell you, when you watch a Coke commercial, what has Coke been telling you since 1932? Drink Coke. It's refreshing. It's sweet. Drink Coke. It's refreshing. It's sweet, right? They have not changed their message. What Nike has been telling us to just do it since I think the early 80s. They have not changed their message. So you don't need to recreate the wheel every single time. You just need to repurpose the same wheel over and over, right? So that's why I love having things like this that I can go back to. I don't have to rethink. I know everyone has their own opinion of her, but I'm going to tell you that Courtney Glazer is a marketing genius. How many of you know she's sober? How many of you notice she's back on the sober kick? She's bringing it back around. She's re-adding to her team. She's looking for more like-minded people. She's looking for people that were in that hole, that are coming out of it and need support. She didn't say, okay, I'm not, like, I haven't, like, she doesn't say, okay, I've been sober for years. It's an old story now. No, she's like, no, this is me. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to churn this back up. Right. So again, it's just repeating the same message over and over and over. It might look a little different. Maybe there's a new font, or maybe there's a new way of sharing it. Like, I mean, now we're doing reels. Who knows what we're doing in a few years, but it's the same message, just repackaged over and over and over. So pick your top 3 and hang out with those. Oh, thanks, Court. Okay, so next on our list, how many of you struggle with what to say to tell people thank you? Like, when I write thank you, sometimes I get stuck. So this time I said, act as my communication expert and write a short thank you that I can hand write to my existing customers, preferably no more than 5 sentences. I wanted to take a moment to express my sincerest gratitude for your ongoing support and trust in our Thrive products. My commitment to your health and wellness means, I'm sorry, your commitment to your health and wellness means the world to me. And I'm truly grateful to have you as a valued customer. If there's anything you need, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you again for being a part of our Thrive community. That was the very first thing it came out with. Now I'm going to write it back and say, please make it more casual. Oh, I spelled casual wrong. God, I hope it, okay, it still knows. Just wanted to drop a quick thank you note to say massive thank you for being awesome and choosing Thrive. That actually sounds more like me. Your support means everything, and I'm so grateful to have you on this health and wellness journey with us. If you need anything, I'm here. Thanks so much for being part of our Thrive team. So my point there is have something that you just automatically know you're putting in the thank you card. You don't have to think about, okay, what do I tell Sally? What do I tell Bob? Like, just tell them that. Tell them the same damn thing over and over and over. Spoiler alert, this could be your February message. You can come back to this thread and say, rewrite a new one and use it all of March, right? You don't have to keep coming up with all these things. And just like how if you're not crazy about what it gave you, you can give it more directions and say, make this easier for me. Paste, copy. I usually do say the same thing for thanking them for their support. Yes, I always feel like I need to say more than just thank you. I love this. Yes. So again, now Sonia, if you're always saying the same thing and it feels good and it feels right, stick with it. Just totally stick with it. I struggle personally. I get all like in my head about, I don't know, like, what did I say last month or blah, blah, blah. It doesn't matter. The fact that you take the time to handwrite a note is what really, really matters. And again, notice I'm taking the time to walk you through this because spoiler alert, your bingo card, it's coming up. All right. Like, be ready. Okay. Anybody have any questions about thank yous or thank you cards? You know, you can always throw in like a free sample of something. You know, when you mail the card, the easiest thing to mail, in case you guys are not familiar with, if maybe you haven't really started your thank you card journey yet, DFTs are the simplest thing to mail because obviously they're flat and they stick right in there. So just look, are they on regular? Send them an ultra. Are they on regular? Send them elite. Are they on elite? Send them an elite duo. I don't know. Have they ever tried Black Label? Like, we have plenty of DFTs that you can spin that stuff around. And then I would think next on my list would be small things like a rebuild or a blast or a thirst, stuff like that. Just remember, when you start stuffing that envelope with things in it, it's going to cost you more to mail it. Whereas if you do the DFT, it's not going to cost you anything. So the other thing you can use, and it's way long time ago, I did it on here on ChatGPT, but let's say you want to send a thank you card and you want to send, maybe you don't have any free product to send right now, or you don't want to pay extra to send something. You could go into ChatGPT and say, generate a letter for me that talks about the top 3 ways to stay hydrated this summer. Take the words, pop it into a pretty Canva graphic, print it out, and put it in their thank you card, right? You're just giving them ideas. What are the top, list 3 great ways to start a workout routine this spring. I don't know, like, I'm just making crap up. But think about your customers, think about what they care about. I mean, do you have a bunch of elite people? Do you have a bunch of skincare? If you have skincare people, what are the top 3 ways to keep my skin hydrated? Like, you can let ChatGPT do the words, and it's just a value add. It's just something that you're throwing in there that not only are you saying thank you handwritten, but then you're throwing something in that like shows that you care, right? Maybe there's, what are the top 3 tricks to get water during the day? Like, I don't know, but just think about things like that. And again, plug it into ChatGPT, let it come up with the words, pop all those beautiful words into Canva and print it out. Okay, that was a bonus that I didn't have scheduled, but what do you got, Lisa?
Well, I was going to say these, I think they're like 75 or 80 cents a piece, these butterfly, and you can send boost, you can send a blast and put one of these on it. It's like non-machine, and you can get a little more weight in it, and they know it can't go through a machine. But I think, like I said, I think they're like 75 or 80 cents a piece.
So what do we, when we go to the counter at the post office, I say,
Tell them you want the butterfly.
Don't call it the butterfly.
Non-machinable surcharge.
Butterfly, non-machine butterchar.
They have yellow and purple.
Okay. Non-machine surcharge. Okay, see, this is why we get together, because that's I did not know that. Thank you, Lisa. Okay, any questions about thank you cards? Any other ideas for thank you cards? Have you guys done a thank you card that was like awesome?
I posted mine in the chat. I always like
Oh,
pretty much every other month, I like to go in there and tell them what their order helped pay for. And I
Oh.
know that may seem at first when I heard, it was actually Casey Bass that told me this 3 or 4 years ago. I was like, there is no way, but I do now. I'm like, hey, thank you. This went to go help pay for Briley's, this would help towards Briley's college tuition payment or whatever. And I've had the best feedback on that. People
good.
want to know. And Danielle did her skill of the day the other day about it, and it really hits home to me.
Good. Yes, I do think that's a good tip. Because I was the same way. I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, I don't know. But people do know that you're a small business and they do like supporting small business. Um, and, especially for a lot of the people on my team, I'm not going to name names here, but the people who are uncomfortable talking about making big money, it could literally be, oh my gosh, thank you so much. This helped. I used my commissions this week to take my kid to the zoo or whatever. It doesn't have to be like I'm riding around in my Rolls Royce with my Rolex on my arm, right? Because who wants to support that? If any of you are living that way, I would like to sell you some Thrive. Okay. All right. Anybody else? I don't want to jump around. I'm limited because when I'm showing you my screen, I can only see like 3 faces at once. So I just make sure no one's trying to talk to me. Okay. Next on the list here. This is one that I have shared my personal version of for a while, but like I was saying earlier, we need to make the content not to be popular, not to be famous, but so we can see people's names show up in those little bubbles at the bottom, right? We want comments, we want shares, we want likes. And then I just said, act as my communication expert. Please generate an introduction message I can send to a new follower on social media. I'd like to express my gratitude of them following me. Humbly admit that showing on a social media isn't always comfortable for me, and I'd like to end by finding out what was on my account that attracted them. I prefer this message to be short and simple. I liked the first one. It said, hey there, thanks a ton for hitting that follow button. I'll admit putting myself out here on the social media isn't always my comfort zone, but connecting to awesome people like you makes it worth it. What drew you to my little corner of the internet? Would love to hear your thoughts. And I was like, I like this. Can you give me one more version or option? Huge thanks for the follow. Your support means the world. I'll be honest, social media isn't always my cozy spot, but knowing you're here makes it more fun. What caught your eye about my page? I'm all ears. I like those. I thought those were both really good, and I could even combine them. So again, if like in my case, I've been sending out the same message over and over and over. So I just wanted to see what it would come up with. Some of you aren't sending messages. So case in point, where this says, thanks a ton for hitting that follow button. Thanks a ton for hitting that like button. Thanks a ton for hitting that heart button. Thanks a ton for hitting that share button. Right? Thanks a ton for viewing my story. Like it doesn't have to always be a follow. You can plug in what it's for. But if you are not taking, and I'm talking to myself because I get in spurts here. If you're only looking at new followers, you're missing a whole bunch of people. Now, I'm not telling you to go on there and send this message to the 3 people you went to high school with, your aunt, and the 7 thrivers that are watching. I want you to send it to people you have not talked to, right? So maybe case in point where this says like what made you, or where it says what brought you to my little corner of the internet, or what caught your eye about my page. It could be what caught your eye about my story, or what caught your eye about my picture, or what caught your attention about my reel, or what did you relate to in that reel, right? You may have to think a little bit. It's not always going to be a copy and paste, but these messages right here are what are actually bringing people into your realm. I shared last week, I think it was on here, about the gal that I said, hey, why are you following me? I said it nicely. I said it more like one of these messages. And she wrote back that we were in groups together and so on and so forth. And you guys, she lives like we ended up talking this weekend. She lives like 30 minutes from me. And I invited her to our garden club meeting next month. So how random is that? Right. But had I just been like, oh my God, I got a new follower. How cool is that? I'm special. I'm important. I'm blah, blah, blah. Like that's not going to help my business, but actually talking to this woman is going to help my business. She doesn't know it yet, but she will be thriving soon. She will be, because she is a gardener. So let me put this prompt into the chat. Sonia says, most of mine have been men, so I'm a bit leery. You know what? I get it. I don't reach out to everybody. That is for sure. I think the more you get into your brand, especially the more you talk about a widow, which I know you hate that word, but the more you get into that, you're going to start hearing back from more women. You're going to start seeing more women, excuse me, women follow you. I do get random men too. I just block them. Or I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. And I don't take the time to block them unless they like comment and say something weird. Otherwise, they just float around out there. But yeah, I think the more you get into it, and one of your brand things too with your Harley, you are going to attract men with that also. So I would say you could go to their page and peek and look. I mean, sometimes I go to, I do, before I send the message, I do tend to peek on someone's page. I mean, this sounds bad, but like if I realize they're an 83-year-old lady, I'm not really, I know, I'm sorry, but I'm not really sending them the message. But at the same time too, like you might click on a guy's page and you might see he does have a Harley, and you might see that he actually does post about, because that to me is the biggest clue, is like when you see that they've never shared anything or they've only shared memes, stuff like that. But then maybe you'll come across somebody who is actually sharing they traveled on their Harley, or this is the place they went. And then you kind of can tell they're not actually weird, I guess is my point. So the other thing too, you guys, if you are not using your groups to find friends, you are so missing out. Ryan Mendoza is the one that taught us this on a Wake Up and Win one time. But just in case you guys don't know, because I think I taught this to Lisa last week or the week before. When you go into your Facebook groups, like right below the name where it shows all the pictures of the people and it says, how many people are in that group. If you click on the pictures of the people, it's going to pull up the members. Scroll down past the group contributors. But then the next section you're going to see is called members with things in common. And right away, there's a lady here. I have 35 mutual friends with her. Here's a lady. I have 50 mutual friends with her. Here's a lady that I have 24 mutual friends with. There was one when Lisa and I were doing this the other day. I had like 100 and some mutual friends. And I was like, shit, she's probably a cousin. So those people you can send a friend request to. And it's not that weird, because when your friend request pops up, they're going to see right away, oh, we have 35 mutual friends. Wait, maybe I do know this person. And then below that, you're going to see members living in your area. So again, this is just based on their address. It doesn't tell you how many mutual friends you might have, but people who are living in your same city and they're into your same group. So maybe they're into your Harley group, maybe they're into your sourdough starter group, like whatever kind of groups you guys are in. That is a great place to meet new people. And then the other thing that I've been trying to pay attention to, the last group, is new to the group. These are people who have recently joined that group. And so I like to click on their page and peek around, or you can even send them a message. Now, listen, this might sound weird and we can use ChatGPT if you want. You can send them a message like, this girl's name is Alexis. I can be like, hey, Alexis, I just saw that you joined, or I see you're a new member to our Greater Cincinnati Gardening Club page on Facebook. I just wanted to say hi. I've been gardening now for a few years. What are you into gardening? I can literally start a conversation. And that's not weird because we're in the same group. Like, you've got to be using your groups. Lindsay says, our team Zoom this week has Nikki Gellahorn, and she's helping us reverse prospect and adding more friends as well. So yeah, that's Tuesday night. You guys are going to want to make sure you're on there for Tuesday night. So that was just a little side note, but those are people that you can be friending and sending messages like this too. So in that case, it wouldn't be thanks for the follow. It would be like, thanks for friending me back, or whatever the words are. Depends on what platform you're on. Okay. Any questions about this? Is anyone doing this? Are you having success with this? Are you talking to new people? Please, for the love of Pete, say yes.
I'll unmute real quick.
Yeah.
So I actually have joined 2 new groups here in the last couple of weeks, and it all stemmed from a TikTok video that I made that women were commenting on, and we then took our conversation into Messenger, and they invited me into their groups. I just went into both of those groups and made an introduction post. One of them is like Total Tango group, and if y'all know tango, you know what that means. And so I got to make an introduction post and just, talked about how crazy I am, but, I'm, just whatever. I've had so many people reach out to me because of that I haven't had to do the work to find the people to go in and see who I have things in common with, because I already have things in common with these people because we're in that group and they've already gotten a glimpse of who I am from my TikTok, and the conversations have just organically been happening. And it's just been really, really fun, I will say, because groups to me have always been like, like I struggle, especially the one where like, go into your groups and share, a meme or a post or comment on something. Like those were a struggle for me. And I think it was because I wasn't with the right people. And now that I'm just focusing only on these two groups. Although I know I have a lot of other groups that are important to me that I revelate with, but right now these are where I'm getting the most attraction and the conversations are happening. So I'm just running with it. So there was like the poster meme that I made the other day was something about Valentine's Day and how like, don't forget to shave your legs for the first time in so many months because Valentine's Day is tomorrow or whatever. I got so many people like, you are hilarious. It's so funny. Like, it's so much easier to have these conversations when you're in the right group. So I will just say, if you are struggling in a group, even though it's a group that you're like, I do relate to this, like it might not be the group for you.
Amen.
So these two groups have just been it for me, and I've just been having success with that. So I just wanted to pop that little tip in there.
Yeah, I want to ask you though, I want you to go back to how it all started. So you made a reel and you got comments on the reel.
Yes.
What did you do when you got comments on that reel?
Well, obviously I replied back to their comment, liked it, loved it. Like we were just kind of having a conversation there in the comments for a minute because one, I'm trying to boost that, but it was asking questions. Like people were like, oh, I'm from Ohio too. And I'd be like, what part? And then when they would tell me what part, then I'd go into Messenger and be like, oh my God, you're only like an hour and a half away from me. Shut up. Like, so then that's how the conversation went into Messenger. I didn't like immediately go into Messenger. It was kind of having a conversation for other people to see, because other people are going to see that and they're going to be like, oh my God, they're both from Ohio. So then like, maybe those other two people are going to make a connection too. Who knows? Like,
yes. Okay. That's what I just want to make sure everyone heard her though. She made the reel, which is on your bingo card to make the reel. And then when she got comments on it, she didn't just heart the comment or thank them for the comment. Like she turned that into a question that started a conversation. And honestly, in the comment section, once somebody comments and you ask a question and they comment back, it just becomes natural to pull it off of there and go into Messenger. Like I think it makes both parties feel better that, okay, now we're like having a private conversation than out there in front of everybody. But it does boost the algorithm. Like she was saying, it does give people who are in there to also see there's a conversation, but you have to start these conversations. You can't just create the content. Like we can't get so focused on creating the content and being like, oh my God, I got 1,000 views. Well, who cares? Who did you talk to of those 1,000 people? So she made the reel, which is awesome and good. And she made it in her brand, which is what attracted the people to her, that now she's in groups that she's like, this is so easy to be in. And that's my point. When you get deep into your brand, when you really truly are in your brand, you'll know. Because back when we used to do the fives, I was in small business groups, I was in dog groups, I was in some gardening groups. But then when I really got into my brand, and I love dogs, don't get me wrong, they're out there behind me right now, but I don't need to be in a dog group. I don't need that. I love business. You guys all know I love business, but I hate those small business groups. They're like network breakfasts. It was awful. But when I finally narrowed in onto the local garden group, like local as in like the tri-state area, and then the zone, which is like your growing zone, those were my people. We talk about what we want to, they're talking about what I want to talk about, that kind of thing. And that's when it becomes, like Courtney said, it's easier for you to be in those groups. It's easier for you to have fun in those groups. So if you aren't feeling like you're in that yet, don't give up on your brand, because your brand is you. but you might want to look for a new group. You might want to, or if you've done a couple of reels and people have commented, you could even say like, what groups are you in? Because for example, the gal that followed me from whatever, and then I met her through Instagram and all that jazz. Now, when we were talking, she asked me about I made a story about interviews for the garden club I'm doing. And she was like, wait, is this a local garden club? And so then we started talking about other groups that we're a part of that we didn't even realize we were both in together. So you're just going to solidify that connection the more and more that you're in the right group. Charlene says, wait, I missed something. Okay. Not Courtney, her name is Lindsay. She is using the green light message as well. And that is where when you go onto your, when you get into Messenger. So Lindsay, like when you're sending the green light messages, are you doing a different one every, do you have a specific one you're using?
Oh, I just say, hey, I see you're online. Happy
Yeah.
Tuesday. Or, hey, I see you're online. Make sure and drink that water. It just depends on what mood I'm in.
Okay. So what she's saying, when you get into Messenger, when you first open up Messenger, you'll see all the little faces across the top. If they have a green dot next to them, that means they're online. That means they're most likely holding their phone right now while they're watching television, Tom Battaglia. So you can you can nab them in the moment. Like they've got their phone in their hand. They're most likely going to respond back to you. And if it's low key, like she just said, hey, happy Tuesday, or hey, drink your water, people are going to respond to that. Charlene says, I'm working to add another group because while I'm still generating new conversations, it is still primarily in my Jeep group. So I'm working on a couple of dog groups. Yeah. And that's the thing. Just keep playing around with your groups until you feel good. But you'll know you're in the right group when you find yourself sending out more and more of these introduction messages, like these more and more of these connecting messages. Okay. So for time's sake, let's keep rolling here. Okay. Next thing on the list that I asked my ChatGPT to help me with that you're going to want to pay attention to because it'll be on your bingo card is act as my social media expert and generate 5 Facebook posts that educate my ideal ideal customer on my brand. But this one kind of backfired on me because immediately it's like, did you know that Thrive isn't just another supplement? Thrive this, Thrive that. I was like, oh crap, that's not what I meant. So I said, hey, keep my brand gardening. Like I literally said, like bring it back to gardening and don't say Thrive. Then I got stuff that I could work with. Did you know that spending time in the garden isn't just good for your plants, but also for your well-being? So I can talk about getting my hands dirty, the vitamin D, like I can talk about health and gardening, dive into the world of gardening and unlock a new level of tranquility and joy. If you're a seasoned gardener, blah, 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 like talking about spending time in nature, getting away from the hustle and bustle. So that's when it became something that a gardener who is my ideal client would want to read about, but yet it still kept it within like me and what I'm doing with my life. So like ready to cultivate a life of beauty, purpose, and growth. Join me in my garden and embark on a journey of discovery, blah, 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 blah. So again, these are kind of salesy and I would probably go back and say, I like this new list, but can you make it less fluffy? And then I would maybe get words that I connect more to, but these are different ways that I can come up with ideas for Facebook posts or again, reels, but this was geared towards Facebook posts that educate my ideal customer or client to help keep attracting them to me. So I'm attracting the ideal client within my brand. And that is one thing that's one of those bingo cards that I make. And when it pops up, I'm like, damn, I hate this one. So I think it's important to use ChatGPT sometimes to get those conversations started. Like, I know what it means to me about gardening, but sometimes I don't know how to explain that to people about why it's so important to me. So this is just a great way of letting ChatGPT again, just kind of help you with the thought starter of it, but also do the educational part. Does anyone else struggle with that bingo card? That particular box on the bingo card? It's probably one of my least favorites. Okay, we're going to do one more and then we're going to call it a night. So I said, let me move this out of the way. Act as my social media expert and generate 5 funny Facebook posts that poke fun of gardening and gardeners. So obviously you would plug in your brand, unless you're a gardener, you can keep that one. Now, why would I want something that pokes fun? Or, why would I want that? Because those are things that are relatable. When you're knee deep in the weeds and you start questioning if you accidentally created a garden or a jungle. Oh shoot, I just made the chat bigger somehow. I accidentally spent more time talking to my plants today than actual humans. Just Google, can you overwater a succulent, asking for a friend? In other words, I've killed something, right? So these are just funny things that, again, it could just be a funny little Facebook post, or I could use that in a reel, but it's something that's geared to people who I'm talking to, right? When you're proudly showing off your homegrown tomatoes, but your friends are too polite to tell you they taste like disappointment, right? Who needs a gym when you have a garden? So again, like Sonia, you've got, obviously you're not going to want to poke fun at a widow, but you could poke fun at a Harley person, right? A motorcycle person. Lindsay's, you could poke fun at someone's morning routine, right? There's all kinds of things that you guys could do. So again, it's just a way to keep your brand in the forefront, but keep your social media fun. People go to social media for entertainment, information, and inspiration, right? They don't go there to get chewed out. They don't go there to get barked at. So anytime you can come up with something entertaining or enlightening, or just something to lighten someone's mood. And so I always like to throw this one in because, a lot of times we have Funny Friday, or we have create a funny reel. And so here's a great opportunity for you to be getting some information from ChatGPT so that you're ready for these Funny Friday things that might be coming your way. Hint, hint. All right. Does anybody have any questions for this upcoming week? I hope this was helpful. I hope I gave you enough hints as well as enough prompts. Those are all in the chat. Oh, I'm going to stop the share so I can see people's faces. Okay. I know some of you aren't, but are any of you new to ChatGPT on here? Are you feeling okay? Good. So everyone's getting the hang of it. Okay. So I won't do obviously ChatGPT every Sunday, but I just felt like, because I literally just finished the bingo cards for the rest of the month right before we started this. So I was like, oh, I'm going to give them just some ways to make it easier on you. But remember, there's always reoccurring themes, right? We are always looking for new customers. We are always looking for new promoters. We are always trying to get sample packs out. We are always looking for ways to talk about the business opportunity. We're always looking for ways to help people find solutions to their pain points. So if you keep those things in mind and you go into ChatGPT once a week or every couple of weeks, you should be able to keep enough topics coming your way. But again, I would find 2 to 3 things that you are really comfortable talking about, that 2 to 3 things that the product has rocked your world with, so it's easy for you to talk about, something that the business has rocked your world with, so it's easy for you to talk about, and just keep talking about it until you're blue in the face. Because I can guarantee if you talk about it once a day, every day for an entire month, 25% of the people that are on your social media will see it and hear it. Right? So don't be afraid to be repetitive. Okay, with that, have a great night. See you guys tomorrow morning on Wake Up and Win. For those of you that can come. Bye.